Mrs. Chippy is a cat with an extraordinary life. Back in 1914, Sir Ernest Shackleton set out on his famous expedition to Antarctica aboard the ship Endurance. Along for the journey was Harry McNish, the ship's carpenter, and his loyal companion, a handsome tabby cat named Mrs. Chippy. Now, here's a funny twist. Despite the name, Mrs. Chippy wasn't a female. He was a male cat, but the crew jokingly named him Mrs. Chippy because of how he followed McNish everywhere, like a devoted spouse. It became a sort of inside joke among the sailors. Mrs. Chippy fit right in with the crew. He wasn't just a pet, he was a morale booster. His daring nature, like walking along the ship's narrow railings without a care, made everyone smile. Life on the Endurance was tough, but this fearless little cat brought a sense of normalcy to the men. Unfortunately, their journey didn't go as planned. The Endurance got trapped in thick Antarctic ice, and after months of waiting, the crew had to abandon the ship. Shackleton knew the journey ahead would be brutal and supplies were limited. In a difficult and controversial decision, he ordered that Mrs. Chippy, along with some of the sled dogs, be put down. This decision devastated McNish, who was especially close to the cat. Even years later, he remained bitter about it, but Mrs. Chippy's memory didn't fade. In 2004, a bronze statue of him was placed on McNish's grave in New Zealand. It was a heartfelt tribute to the adventurous cat who had been a part of such a historic journey. Mrs. Chippy's story is both heartwarming and bittersweet. It reminds us of the special bond between humans and animals, even in the harshest of environments. It's amazing to think that for a brief moment in history, a cat played a small but meaningful role in one of the most famous Antarctic expeditions. What do you think about Adventure of